Well, experts have condemned the increasing debt profile of the country, adding that something needs to be done urgently to arrest the situation. Speaking on TV360 Nigeria's flagship program, Deji 360, Chief Executive Officer of the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, Muda Yusuf, lamented that the country's debt situation is extremely alarming. Speaking further, Yusuf urged the government to tackle the situation from both expenditure and revenue side, adding that there is no point creating a subsidy regime in the proposed 2023 budget's assumptions. He also admonished the government to consider cutting down on the cost of governance in the country, saying the cost of governance in Nigeria is unnecessarily expensive.
Public debt was about 42 or 43 trillion. About 12% of that belongs to the states. The balance is to the federal government. Now, we have not reckoned with government indebtedness to the central bank, which is also sovereign debt. The minister is now talking about converting it into bond and all of that. By the time you add almost 20 trillion to that, you're talking about 62 trillion. Then you have the debt that the AMCON debt. By the time you add that, you'll be getting close to almost 70 trillion. So the debt situation is extremely, very, very bad. But the options we have, of course, in this situation, we have very limited options. But this matter is a matter that we need to deal with, both from the expenditure side and from the revenue side. If we're able to ease our way out of this subsidy, the challenge of managing the debt will be much less.
You're quite right.
Because you have a much better fiscal space, to be able to manage the situation. If you're able to get a government that can cut down on the cost of governance, because cost of governance is also a very big factor. In spite of all the challenges of revenue, expenditure has been ballooning over the years. So we need to rein in on the cost of governance. Then, of course, we have all these issues around the fiscal leakages. We have seen all this series of reports by the Auditor General, which nobody is taking seriously. So there has to be a lot more accountability. And we also need to look at the budget, look at the assumptions in the budget. The exchange rate assumption, put the exchange rate assumption at 435 naira to the dollar, the parallel market. So why will you go and put a 435 in the budget? And this is going through everybody and nobody is raising any questions about it. At least at the minimum, it should be putting that exchange rate as close to 500. At least you get some revenue from that. You don't have to begin to create a subsidy regime, even right inside the budget assumptions. So these are some of the things. And of course, if we're able to create the right policy environment, we are likely to witness a growth in investment. Because right now, some of our policies are also not encouraging private investment. They are not encouraging the inflow of private capital into the economy. If you have a much more conducive environment, if investment level is growing, revenue to government will also grow.